can't do it. Can someone tell me which chapter all the characters drown in the deep end water and die? I've had to pause because my camera's overheating. That's how much simmering rage I have inside of me. Welcome back to reading reviews of books that social media is trying to tell us are going to heal our souls and restore our faith in humanity. Today we're talking about Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Clear your schedules, folks. The things that we have to discuss, they might take a while. I didn't find it sexy, nor did I particularly enjoy the vibe of this love interest stick being so good that it heals complex trauma that our MC needed to work through professionally. I promise, the constant ache I was feeling had nothing to do with the light BDSM content. Sadly, it was just everything else. Listen, I've read enough fictional men to know that sometimes what happens downstairs could heal complex trauma. It could heal my complex trauma. I'm down to volunteer as tribute if we want to just double check that it works in real life. Okay, but back to the book. This story follows Scarlett, a Stanford student who has been on the path her entire life to be an Olympic diver. On top of the physical and mental stress on her body from that alone, she is also experiencing coming back to the water after a very traumatic dive that led to her almost never being able to dive again. Oh, my baby girl! I'm already getting a sprinkling of devil may care. Mostly it's just because both the FMCs are on the swim team, but hopefully in this one, the FMC is not a minor. She is very much still experiencing the PTSD from that competition while trying to be able to dive like she once used to. Her college best friend, Penn, suggests that Scarlett should hook up with her soon-to-be ex-boyfriend. So Penn, her best friend, is still with this guy, and she's like,
"Do you know what you should do, bestie? You should come in and just join our bandwagon."
What the fuck? I mean, talk about friendship, I guess. Now, her soon-to-be ex-boyfriend is the swim captain, Lucas. So we've got two pro athletes here. After a conversation where she was telling Scarlett that her boyfriend has different sexual wants than her, and Scarlett told her she has the exact same wants. Wow, match made in heaven. Are we all just discussing our preferences in the bedroom with our friends like this openly? Oh yeah, my boyfriend likes this and I like that, which is not the same, so you should go take a ride on his crazy train. I'm sorry, this is just so awkward to me and so unrealistic. But I digress. Oh, and their relationship has been going on for over 7 years, where they have very much trauma bonded over some really horrible things that have happened to them in the past. We've got drama. I'm loving it already. It's obviously very hard for Penn and her boyfriend Lucas to break off after 7 years of being together. But I don't know, 7 years is crazy, but also maybe not as crazy as picturing having sex with your girlfriend's friend while she is not even your ex-girlfriend yet. Yes, that is weird. If you've been together for 7 years and it is that easy for him to be like,
I could totally go for your friend.
That's weird. And as a friend, it's also weird that you're like,
oh yeah, I'd be down to go there.
7 years. You could have a child by now. Also, I'm just hot, but I promise I'm wearing shorts. For free? I should have known there to DNF this, because that premise alone is just insane to me. Me too, baby girl. I just could never do that, and I think most people wouldn't do that. And I am all for insta-lust and just having an instant sexual and or romantic connection with someone, but I could never enjoy that setup. Now, just to be clear, I have never read Ali Hazelwood, but her books have been shoved into my FYP. It's kind of a miracle that I haven't picked one up yet. I think it's because she just gives me these summer romancy love vibes, which isn't really my go-to. Then we also get the lack of communication every single chapter, which I could totally understand because of the complex trauma this MC is navigating. But once it starts feeling like the magical first dom is healing every part of her, and she is still running away from every problem, while also simultaneously acting so naive, it is just exhausting. Unbelievable and exhausting. I hate miscommunication trope, especially these people are meant to be in college, okay? You are meant to have the rational, complex skills of being able to have a goddamn conversation. I do think some of it comes from Wattpad trauma of just being shoved so much miscommunication, and it's always I've heard enough. You've heard nothing. You just walked out mid-conversation, you goddamn idiot. Is it just me? If you have a trope that you could just you could not stand, let me know in the comments, just so I know that I'm not alone in my rational hate. You could be the best author in the world, but you could not make me enjoy a miscommunication scene. I am so sorry. Anyway, no dom-sub relationship is going to just completely heal the shit you need to actually work through, especially when your trauma has to do with abuse from a man you should be able to trust. Please also seek actual professional help, not just your bestie's ex who just so happens to be the perfect first dom for you. Oh, there's so much to unpack here. What 50 Shades of Grey has done to the genre of romance in literature is It needs to be taken to a court of law and it needs to be prosecuted. It's always like,
Oh yeah, we're dumb stuff, but we've done no research onto this. We just have like a safe word and that's it. And everything's sunshine and roses.
please can y'all just do a little bit of research? I am begging you. And also, it's always like he's really domineering outside the bedroom too and she is really submissive outside the bedroom too, and I'm just like, what you do in the bedroom is not your entire freaking personality. Crashing out. I don't think I can even get through this entire video without it being like entirely flagged by YouTube, but the things I have to say. I'll just save it for a Tropes on Trial video. I already know those are gonna get blacklisted one day, so. Plus, Scarlett and Lucas were so bland and boring, even during their sexual encounters, that we constantly had to be told with such kinky BDSM. I truly just could never actually care about them or see why they cared about each other besides the instant attraction they had been harboring while he was dating one of her best friends! Jesus Christ, people, what happened to loyalty? This is still beating all over again, where he's like lusting over his fiance's sister for freaking years. Ah! I've had to pause because my camera's overheating. That's how much simmering rage I have inside of me. I found all the Swedish stereotypes super exhausting. Like, they never felt good to read and always were at least borderline uncomfortable. At this point, I am begging this author to just bring back actual thought and empathy going into your characters once again. This came up in so many reviews of like actual Swedish people fuming at this book because the expressions were just like Google translated. It's not that hard. I think she's like a best-selling author. Surely you can find at least one Swedish people to actually have a conversation with. But there are some like positives in this book. I don't want to just like rip an author to shreds for no reason. I liked exactly 2 things about this book. 1, the stepmom and how family can look different, but it doesn't matter as long as you show up for each other. True that. And 2, the discussions on how hard D1 athletes are pushed both mentally and physically, while their goals are always hanging above their heads because one bad injury can take away your dream. Both of these things weren't talked about in detail but were brought up throughout, and I did enjoy them every time. Same, I feel like we have so many great romance books out there about athletes, but not a lot of them actually focus on the hardship in terms of like the actual physical hardship. And I also kind of want to see more sports romances, because I read quite a lot of hockey romance, where they talk about things like eating disorders, body dysmorphia amongst athletes. That is so common, especially amongst male athletes, and I feel like people never talk about it. Maybe I'm wishing for too much. And it's not like the book is that deep. Pen, knowing that she had it pretty hard growing up, and then losing the only constant stable she had in her life for the last 7 years, and then lashing out and realizing that she's really hurting and wasn't as cool about the situation as she thought she was, that is realistic to me. That is realistic to me too. The fact that you're proposing that is absolutely insane. But then realizing that your friends actually went through with it, and like is like happy-go-lucky with your ex, that's mental to me. I'd be like questioning myself, being like, have these 2 been secretly hooking up and lusting over each other this whole time? Alarm bells would be going off here. I would not be chill about it. Regardless, this sadly just didn't work for me the way I really hoped that it would, especially considering how much I've enjoyed other works from this author. But I highly cringed while reading the book, not to mention whatever Scarlett had going on with Lucas in the past sounded a lot hotter than what he and Scarlett had in the present day. Maybe that's messy of me, but also true. The author put up like a ton of content warnings, which I always appreciate because there's nothing that annoys me more than when authors put content warnings behind a paywall, or you have to like go to their website to read the full list. Like, what the fuck? Do you really need to click that much? And some additional like content warnings. Drinking, mentions of a student-teacher relationship, immense trauma and PTSD if it wasn't obvious. There's a lot of unwanted touching. The next episode is going to be a different sports romance, but I am crossing my fingers and toes that it's like slightly better. So make sure you subscribe for that. Shout out to Sarah K, who told me to please keep making videos like this because it tells her what not to read. That was the point. I hope you enjoyed this one.